Hey, Rockstars, Andrew Houston here with another no bullshit podcast for contractors. Let me ask you this question. Do you want to close more deals? Do you want to land more jobs? If that is of interest to you, that's what we're going to be talking about today. These are going to be some really simple tactics that are going to enable you to actually close more deals. So stay tuned and I'll see you on the flip side. Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class. They call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life. All right, Rockstar, welcome to another No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. We're going to be talking about how you guys can close more deals today. I'm going to give you some simple strategies that are going to work. But first of all, should you keep listening to this podcast? Well, I don't know. Let's see. If you want to close more deals and you're a contractor, stay tuned. If you want some simple strategies that you can apply, like literally right after this call that, are almost no cost, then stay tuned. All right. So look, it's an early time of the year. It's January, and typically this time of the year for some contractors, they struggle with getting enough work. Now, they've had the big push on in December. There might be carryover where you guys are still busy in January, but coming into February, March, that's when things start to slow down for some contractors out there. Regardless if that is the case for you, landing more deals or getting more jobs, actually more qualified jobs and landing more of them is important no matter what cycle your business is in. Jim Rohn used to talk about the 4 seasons of business, just like there's 4 seasons that we actually deal with in life. You can't run away from them. Some people, they're massive changes in temperature. If we're looking at it from a seasonal perspective, we got the winter, we got snow, we got the summer where it's hot. Some people, hardly get any snow, but everybody deals with these different seasons. So at this time of the year, it tends to be that season when things start to slow down. So we've had a big push on getting a lot of jobs finished because we had a lot of customers knocking on our door to get things done for Christmas and what have you, for dealing with commercial jobs or industrial jobs. A lot of those clients, they might have wanted you to finish off those jobs so that they can come into the new year with new budgets, and they've spent all their money, especially if you got government contracts and stuff like that. They want to get their budgets cleaned out. In other words, use them so that come the new year, they can go and hit the reset and get the same level, if not more, budgets to spend more money and what have you. So let's get into this closing part of it. The first thing I'm going to say to you is this strategy I'm about to share is really simple, but you have to really ask yourself and be honest with this question. Are you properly tracking your leads? Think about that for a minute. Are you tracking them? Do you have them in some place? The simplest place would be on a whiteboard, right? Do you have them in front of you or your team looking at them on a daily basis? Maybe it's in a spreadsheet. Maybe it's like some of our clients, we bring to the table a CRM system where they can actually track their leads and make it digital and have it automated and all those great things. But let's just stop for a second. Are you tracking your leads? Are you actually gathering the information that you need from them as far as, the contact name, and this sounds really simple, but a lot of us, we don't do some of the simple things. And honestly, it's stupid. If we don't have the ability to track our leads and reflect on who needs to be followed up when, we don't have the ability to prioritize them. We don't have the ability to filter fast. And stay with me here. I'll give you a little tool here that you can get your hands on to filter fast. It's like a 4 simple step process. then you're not going to be able to maximize the amount of jobs that you can land. So the very first thing that we need to make sure that we establish is, are we tracking the leads? So that's step number one. So ask yourself, if you're not tracking your leads right now, maybe you're just a small contractor and you're like, so Andrew, where would I start? We've got contractors that are, multi-million dollar contractors, and they still use a whiteboard. They might not have all their leads on that whiteboard, but they have the important leads that they got to follow up with. It tends to be, in a month window of time, what are the top leads that they've got to cover off and address, follow up on, get information for. And it ensures that you're giving the leads the proper attention in the right order. So make sure either get a whiteboard, use a spreadsheet. If you want to engage with us to get some of the tools and templates to support you on that, no problem. Or use a CRM system, but don't overcomplicate it, okay? Use a simple approach. So that's number one. Number two is, now that you've got that board, you need to filter fast. And we have a filter fast template for you guys that actually, deals with these four things. Do they have the right amount of money? Do they have the right level of authority? What is the urgency? What's sort of the immediate need of when they need this project? And what do they need from a contractor like yourself? So, it goes in more depth than that, but you got to have a filter fast process so that, the ones that are on the board are not only getting the right priority, but also the ones that really shouldn't be on the board, are removed, and you're not wasting your time on these people. Now, that filtering fast process actually starts before you even do that whiteboard or spreadsheet. In other words, you want to filter fast so that you got the right level of focus. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're working with people that appreciate our value, that appreciate and understand what it is that we do, and are willing to, give us time, because we're going to be willing to give them time to see if there's a fit. All right. So make sure you have a filter fast process, either, at the front end of that, let's just call it the whiteboard, okay, or your sales tracking system, and definitely after. Now, why would it be, I talked about before, okay, that makes sense, but you're like, why would it be after? Well, let's think about this for a second. If you're tracking these leads, and all of a sudden this whiteboard, I'm just going to use the whiteboard, or your system, becomes filled with these leads, well, that actually can change how you look at the, some of the leads that you got earlier. In other words, if you got a whole bunch of really hot qualified leads, in 2 weeks from now, and you had a bunch of, okay level leads, when you start adding those high quality leads to your board, and you look at it and go, man, I can only do so much of this work. In other words, if I landed all this, I would be screwed. You've got to filter fast and re-qualify, all along your sales process as to who it is that you need to follow up and what attention you need to give to them. Okay. So super simple approach. Okay. This is also about saving yourself time. When we can leverage productivity, profitability, and optimization around our time and our team's focus and your focus, think about how much time you're going to have to spend on doing these quotes. You want to make sure you're dealing with the right people. So that's going to do a couple of things for you. Tracking your leads, filtering your leads fast at the front end and at the back end is going to give you and your team the focus to engage with the people that you want to land. Now, let's go to the next part of this process. When you look at these different jobs that you've got lists, or different opportunities that you have on your sales board, sales process, you want to make sure that you've got the right engagement sales process from a script perspective, from a sales, actually, selling the actual job. If you got a commercial job, an industrial job, and a residential job, and even complicating it a little bit more, say you're dealing with young families for a couple of them, then you're dealing with retired people, then you're dealing with single bachelors. You want to make sure you've got the right sales scripts. And when I say sales script, I'm not trying to make you like a robot, but you want to have the right process, talking the right language to the people so they understand your value proposition. They understand, what you're going to bring to the table in a way that it's going to resonate with them. So make sure that you've got the right scripts, the right sales approach, the right value propositions for each of the different products and services you have. Because if you approach everybody with the same brushstroke, you're not going to convert as many as you would with the approach of really addressing the core fears, frustrations, and wants and aspirations of these prospects. So that's another no bullshit podcast for contractors. If you want to get your hands on the Filter Fast template, it's super easy to use. You can apply it right away. Then just put Filter Fast if you're part of the Profitable Contractors Association group, and we'll get that out to you. If you're not, join the Profitable Contractors Association. And look, pick one of the strategies I talked about today. If you currently have a sales tracking system, it's still early in the year. Audit it, take a look at it, make sure that it's being optimized, make sure that everybody understands how to apply it, how to leverage it, and how to use it. And if you don't, then get something in place that you can start tracking your leads and qualifying them and making sure that they're not getting lost in the weeds and they're not falling off the table. That you're able to organize your calendar, your team's calendar, to make sure these things get addressed, and leverage your team, which leverages your time, leverages your systems, and take your sales to the next level. Take your control of your time to the next level along with your team. And I'll see you on the flip side. Ciao. Hey, rock stars. Thank you for watching the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button. And if you're serious about growing and need help, click on the link below. Myself and my team would love to help and give you the necessary tools so you can take your contracting business to the next level. And remember, dominate, delegate, and deliver.